about how you can get a higher paying job in 30 days or less. I'm going to talk to you about your resume. Today I'm going to talk about your resume. Really the biggest issue that candidates are having right now with trying to find work or getting someone to respond to them is their resume. And when you are selected for work, the big issue is you don't understand really what the hiring manager is telling you by selecting you from your resume, right? So for those of you, if this is your first time in the live, let me just kind of give you a brief background on me. I have been in talent acquisition and recruiting for more than 35 years. I designed the entire hire life cycle for all of the companies that I work with. So the job description, the pay range, the applicant tracking system, the job board job that you see. And when your resume comes back into the applicant tracking system, me and my team are the ones that see it. And I am the one that gets you an interview, or I'm the one that sends you the rejection letter when we say you're not qualified, right? So the biggest issue that people are having today is not that there are not enough jobs. There are more than enough jobs that you can apply to and get hired for in the next 30 days. The issue is you just don't know how to navigate those waters. There's 4 things you need to understand about how to get a job that is going to pay you more, right? Number 1, you got to have a resume that attracts the attention of a hiring manager. I'm going to tell you the 4 things that every hiring manager wants to see. You have to understand how to find jobs, look for jobs the way recruiters look for you. You got to know how to interview with companies so you can know what they're asking, why they're asking it, what the interview is all about, and how to answer their questions. And then you need to know how to get higher paying job offers. I'll tell you how to send 1 email and get higher paying job offers. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to get started with is your resume. Now, if you're someone and you are like, I'm looking for a job, have been looking for a job, and I work with clients all the time who have been looking for jobs for 8 months, 9 months, a year. Somebody told me yesterday they've been looking for a job for 2 years. If you've been looking for work or you're interested in getting a job in the next 30 days, then type, I'm tired of this process. I'm tired in the chat. You're like, I'm applying to jobs. Nobody's reaching out to me and I'm just tired of it. If that's you, type I'm tired in the chat. I'm going to tell you how to fix it. Okay. I'm going to leave my email address in the chat on both Facebook and on Instagram. So if you want to send me an email, you can definitely send me an email. And on TikTok, my email address is right above my head. So you can send me an email there as well. All right, so they're pinning the comment. Okay, so here's the situation. You want to get hired for a job or you want to interview for a job. The first step is you got to interview, right? Now, how do you get selected to interview? That's the issue. Most people think that their resume, the purpose of their resume is to show a hiring manager their skill, experience, education, and background and prove to them with that information that they are a right fit for the job. It's supposed to show stability, all of those things. A lot of people think that, right? Is that what you think? Do you think that that's the purpose of your resume, to show the hiring manager your skill, experience, education, and background? If that is what you think, type yes in the chat, because I'm going to share with you what the real reason and purpose is behind your resume. Okay. Now, a lot of people think, and many of you are typing in the chat, yeah, I'm supposed to show the hiring manager my skill, experience, education, and background. Well, I'm going to tell you that that is not the reason and the purpose of your resume. In fact, hiring managers, they don't even read your resume. They only skim and scan it. And if they don't see the things that I'm about to share with you that they're looking for within the first 10 seconds, they're going to pass on your resume, even though you may be supremely qualified to do the job. You may have all of the experience, but if you don't show a hiring manager what they want to see, they will not call you. Now, I'm going to tell you how I learned this. 28 years ago, I was a senior recruiter. in a customer service call center. It's a 1,000 seat customer service call center. And I was submitting your resume to hiring managers after talking to you. You were qualified and they were telling me no, right? I didn't understand it. Why would you tell me no, and I'm in your HR department, for a candidate I just spoke to who has told me and proven to me based on my questions that they have the experience that you told me you were looking for? That was a surprise to me. I just really didn't understand that. So I went to my manager, frustrated, a director, and said to her, hey, I'm having a challenge. I've been submitting resumes for this upcoming training class, and the hiring managers, they're rejecting almost every single person that I'm submitting to them. And these people are qualified. I don't think they like me. That's what I told them, right? Told her, right? And she says, well, I'm looking at their resume. Go ask them again. What do they want? What do they want? What are they looking for? And I was frustrated with her because I had told her, I already talked to them. I know what they're looking for. They told me. And she told me, ask again. Now I was going to quit this job. This was the last chance I was going to take, right? So I went into the conference room and I had the hiring managers that I was supporting, and I asked their directors to come into the room too, right? Because I was going to prove to their directors that these individuals didn't like me, and that's why they were rejecting these resumes. Well, I asked them the question. I said, hey, listen, I want to understand what I'm missing because I'm submitting candidates to you, but you don't want them, right? I talked to them. I'm giving you my recruiter notes. I'm telling you everything that I talk about, but you're telling me that you don't want to talk to them. And this is what they said. It might surprise you. They said to me, Daniel, we appreciate all of the work that you're doing, and we understand that the people that you are submitting to us, they're probably good people, but they're not what we're looking for. And I hear what you're saying they can do, but I don't see it. Okay. Now, when they said I don't see it, I was confused because I had your resume and I had my recruiter notes from our conversation. So after hearing them say, I don't see it many, many times, I said to them, wait a minute, what do you want to see? Tell me. Like, what am I missing? You keep saying you want to see it. I thought I was showing you. And they told me what they wanted to see. And that changed everything. A light bulb went off and I realized, wait a minute, what they're telling me they want to see that up front. That's the first thing they want to see. They don't want to see it in my recruiter notes. They don't want to have to look through the candidate's resume to figure that out. They want to see it right up front in bright lights, right? So I had about 4 people that I was going to be interviewing, submitting for an interview, that I did not submit because I wanted to have this meeting first, right? After leaving that meeting, I ran back to my office and I looked at the candidates' resumes that I was about to submit. And lo and behold, they did not have that information right up front. It was on my recruiting notes, but it was not on their resume. So this is what I did. I took the information from my recruiting notes, right? The questions that I asked, the quantifiable information, and I added it to these individuals' resume. I then sent the resume back to the candidate and said to them, hey, I made a few changes to your resume because if I submit your resume the way you sent it to me, the hiring manager would tell me no. Can you take a look at it and tell me it's okay? And all of them said yes. So once they told me yes, I submitted their resume to the hiring manager, and all 4 of those people immediately got an interview. In fact, the hiring manager said to me, yes, this is exactly what we were looking for. That changed everything for me, right? I realized that I, representing you as a recruiter, I was not showing the hiring managers what they wanted to see. So for the past 28 years of my recruiting career, I have changed every person's resume before I submit it to the hiring manager. What do hiring managers want to see? There are 3 things they want to see, and I've added a 4th. The purpose of the resume, your resume has one job, and that job is to get you an interview. That's the job of your resume. Okay, it's not to be fancy and show a hiring managers how you've made world peace. It is to show the hiring manager how you can help them do the thing they want someone to do. That's the only purpose of your resume. Okay, so I started creating resumes that help hiring managers see exactly what they told me they wanted. So if a hiring manager said this, I want someone who is a customer service call center rep who answers 100 calls a day with a 6-minute call time. I would ask you that. And if you told me that's what you did, and I asked you a couple of follow-up questions, I added that to your resume. If they said to me, I want someone who is a customer service call center rep who has at least 5 years experience, I would add that to your resume after I asked you a question and you told me that you have 5 years experience, right? So that's what changed everything for me. Now, I work with clients right now where we look at their resume and I could clearly see why they're not being selected. I'm looking at their resume from the perspective of a hiring manager and from the perspective of an experienced senior leader in recruiting, and I can see why you're getting rejected. Now, you need to understand how this works, okay? Your resume is not a biography. It's not supposed to be written like that. Your resume, instead, I want you to think about your resume like it is a marketing document. You are advertising your skill to show a hiring manager that you are the solution to their problem. You are not supposed to be writing a biography about the problems you've solved. Okay, and most people are writing their resumes in that way. So this is a big problem. If I had to put a number to it, 9 out of every 10 resumes I look at, if I sent it to the hiring manager the way you sent it to me, you would not get an interview. 9 out of 10. So if you're someone who is constantly getting rejections for resumes, it's because of these 3 things. Number 1, when a hiring manager gets a resume from me or you, the first thing they are asking themselves is, what does this person do? And I'm not talking about job title, right? Most of you front load your resume with your job titles. That's not what they're interested in. They want to know the function of the work. So yes, I'm a VP, senior manager, national recruiting manager. That's what I am. But what I am from a hiring manager's perspective is I'm a recruiter. I do recruiting, right? So that's what they want to see. I do talent acquisition. The second thing they want to see, and they're adamant about, is how long have you been doing this job, this work? What's your experience level? Are you 0 to 4 years, 5 to 9 years, 10 to 15 years, or 15 years or more? Because that tells them if they need to train you or not. If they don't have time to train candidates, they're not going to take someone who is entry level. So that's the second thing they want to see. Hiring managers will ask me all the time, I see this person as a customer service rep, how much experience do they have? And I would have to tell them. So I put that right up front so they don't have to ask me that question about you. Now, the third thing, which almost 100%, no, I wouldn't say 100, 99% of people are missing from their resume, is this third thing. And that is quantifiable evidence or proof, metrics of the work you do. So most of you don't put metrics on your resume, right? Like the metrics on my resume are, I hire 4,000 to 6,000 people per year for medium and large companies in the US. That's a metric, a number, right? How much revenue have you generated? How much cost have you saved? How much have you stopped the company from bleeding in terms of revenue? How many people do you process for payroll? How many people do you manage? If you're a call center rep, how many calls do you take? What's your average call time? If you're in telemarketing, if you're in collections, how much do you collect? If you're APAR, all of those things are very important to hiring managers. And for most people, it is missing from their resume. That is the thing that tips the scale and causes hiring managers to stop in their tracks and call you. So if your resume doesn't have that visible right up front, no one's going to call you. The last thing that I advise adding to your resume is what I call a value statement. Okay. Now, a lot of you may have never heard of what a value statement is, and I work with clients all the time who don't have value statements on their resume, but a value statement simply says, I help you to do whatever you do, right? So the example of that would be Nike, right? So let's think about Nike. When Nike is trying to sell a new shoe in 2026, when they are advertising their shoe, and your resume is an advertisement, they don't say, we have a brand new shoe for 2026. It's made of rubber, canvas, and laces. It's a size 10. Buy it. That's not what Nike says. What Nike says to you and me is this. We have a brand new shoe in 2026. It is going to help you run faster, jump higher, look better, and win. That's what it tells you. It tells you the outcome you will get if you purchase it. So, are you telling hiring managers with your resume and a value statement the outcome they will get if they hire you? Most people don't. So, the hiring manager is trying to guess, trying to really figure out if you can help them. And if they can't figure it out, they're not going to call because they believe talking to you is a waste of their time. Now, I know that it's probably not a waste of their time, but I'm telling you that to them, they are thinking, I'm going to find someone else who has the information I'm looking for because this is probably going to be a waste of my time, right? So they don't call you. Now, how do I know this? Many hiring managers, when I was not positioning your resume the way that I position resumes now for hiring managers, they were asking me these questions, okay? And I figured out if I told them what they were asking for right up front, they wouldn't have to keep asking me the same question. They could just say yes or no to your resume. And 87% of the resumes I submit to hiring managers, they get an interview. 87%. Prior to doing this, it was 20%. So 20% of the people that I submitted, they got interviews. Now it's 87%. Well, what changed? It's not you. You're the same person. You have the same skill, experience, background, education, passion for their work. You're the same person. What changed? The resume changed. So, if you are struggling right now, you are putting in applications and no one's calling you back, you need to take a close look at your resume to see if it's created in the way that I'm talking about. What do hiring managers skim and scan for? Numbers, percentages, revenue generated, cost savings. That tells them if you are someone who can do what they're looking to have someone do. I had a conversation today with a guy who is interviewing for a CEO position at a nonprofit organization. And he was struggling because he didn't understand how to land this job. And I had to give him an understanding of a couple things. And he might be on this live right now. But I wanted him to understand that the only reason the company selected him to do the interview is because they already saw his resume and know he can do the job. See, the hiring manager wasn't struggling with whether or not he can lead the organization. He was struggling with the way to show them, but I told him, you're wasting your time. They've already seen it. The only reason why they picked you to interview is because they seen that you can do the job. That's it. So you don't have to try to convince a hiring manager if you've already told them with your resume. The thing I had him understand is the outcome that they were trying to get him to achieve for them, which is stop revenue loss and increase revenue on the front end, on the back end. So stop revenue loss on the front end and increase revenue on the back end so that the nonprofit organization can continue to grow. So if your resume is not positioned correctly, if your resume reads like a book, if your resume does not have a value statement, if hiring managers can't see quantifiable evidence and proof, you can apply to 20,000 jobs and no one will call you. Okay? Now, there's something else I want to share with you about resumes and the application process because most people get it wrong. I want you to change your thinking about the application process. You think that when you submit your resume to a job posting on a job board that you are completing an application. You're not. You're not completing an application. Your application is completed post offer. It's after they say, yes, we want to hire you and you've signed an offer. It's not when you show them that you're interested in the job they have open. We call it an application, but in the applicant tracking system, you're just showing interest, right? So many of you, when you're trying to apply to jobs, you're looking at jobs on job boards, and tell me if this is you. You're looking at jobs on job boards and you're saying, I don't trust these job boards. I'm going to go to the company's website and I'm going to fill out the application there. If that is what you do, put it in the chat. Yes, that's what I do. Yes, I go from the job board to the company's website, and that's how I fill out applications. I do not do it on the job boards. Okay? If that's what you're doing, I'm going to tell you, you are wasting your time. It's a complete waste of time. Let me explain to you why. When your application comes into the applicant tracking system, okay, it either comes from a job board, that's the apply source, or it comes from the website, that's the apply source. If you do it from the career site, it takes about 35 minutes to complete that application. And the only thing we want from you is your resume. That's all we want. So we make you fill out all of this information just so we can get your resume. And if you're not qualified in our eyes, we're going to send you a rejection letter and you just spent 35 minutes. That's why so many people are so tired of pushing their information out. Well, if you went to the job board, let's say LinkedIn, and you did the easy apply route for the same job, it takes less than 21 seconds for you to submit your application and information for us to get your resume. So I tell clients, never fill out the long application, because I know as a recruiter, the only thing we want is your resume, right? So you have to make a choice. Am I willing to spend 30 minutes of my time filling out one application to introduce myself to one hiring manager, or am I willing to spend 30 minutes of my time submitting my resume to 90 jobs? Clients on my Fast Track program, that's what they do. They complete 90 applications in 30 minutes every single day. They have an advantage over everyone else. Why? Because they are being seen by more hiring managers. They have a resume that attracts the attention of hiring managers, and they're being seen by 90 times more than the average person. So, if you want to be successful at landing a job 30 days from right now, that's what you have to do. Why do you have to do that? Let me explain to you how the application process works. When you submit your application to a job, let's say you submit your application first thing in the morning, everybody that submits the application after you, your resume goes all the way down to the bottom. Keeps going, keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. You might be application number 1 of 180 applications or resumes. But your resume is at the very bottom. As a recruiter, I know this, my team does this, and virtually every recruiter on the planet does this. When we start looking at applications, when we start looking at candidate resumes, we don't start from the first person who submitted their resume. We started from the last one. Kind of like what you do with your email. So you may be the most qualified person to do the job, but because your resume is buried at the bottom of the pile, no one has called you. You are probably going to get a rejection letter, because if we find 10 to 15 candidates that closely match what we're looking for before we get to you, you're going to get a rejection letter. If your resume does not attract the attention of a hiring manager, doesn't matter when you apply, you're going to get a rejection letter. So if you can make a decision, am I going to take 30 minutes to do one application or 30 minutes to do 90 applications? Right? You got to have a strategy that allows you to get in front of as many people as possible. Imagine Nike, right? They wanted to advertise a brand new shoe. Imagine Nike just doing one TV commercial. One. You would never know that shoe existed. Or you may be one of the few people who caught that ad to see that shoe. That's not what Nike does. That's not what all of the big advertisers do. That's not what people who are successful getting jobs faster, higher paying jobs faster, that's not what they do. They apply in volume. They market themselves in volume. The application process has changed. When I first started in the 90s, the early 90s, the way that you got seen is you had to come to our office, use a black or blue ink pen, and you had to fill out a paper application. There was no resume. You had to give us all of your application data while you sat in our office for 40 minutes to an hour before seeing a recruiter. That has changed. Recruiters and hiring managers now sit behind a screen and quickly glance at your resume, and if they don't see what they want to see, they click no thank you. Right? So, how do you know if your resume looks like it's supposed to? Well, today I'm going to do free resume reviews. The first 100 people that submit their resume to me via email, I will look at your resume for free and tell you, change this, add this, remove this, put this there, put that there, right? Why do I do that? Because I want to see you get more job interest. I want to see you get more interviews. And if your resume is positioned correctly and it shows that you are trustworthy and credible by the information that a hiring manager sees, you are going to set yourself on the track to get higher paying job offers from the beginning. My email address is daniel@dscds.com. 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 If you email me a copy of your resume, I will review your resume today, and I will tell you, fix this, change this, add this, remove this, so you can get more interviews that lead to higher paying job offers. Okay? Now, what is the best way to search for jobs? Okay? One of the best way to search for jobs is to have, first, you got to have a resume that attracts the attention of hiring managers. But the best way to search for jobs is to use the job boards. And let me explain to you why. How do jobs get to job boards? The way they get to job boards is I publish the job in the applicant tracking system. That job then is posted on our career site. And then LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed.com scrapes our website for new job openings and posts it on their website. So the job that you see on LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed.com, it has gotten there one of two ways. Either I put it there directly, or they scraped our career site and put it there themselves. Okay. So the jobs that you see on LinkedIn, for the most part, are all open live jobs. I'm going to tell you how to determine whether a job is open or not. Okay, I'm going to tell you how to recognize that. Because many of you're not getting selected because you're applying to jobs that are closed on these job boards. So I can understand why you are a little skittish, why you are a little funny about applying to jobs. Let me give you a fact, okay? Most of the jobs on LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed.com, they may be closed, and here's how you know, okay? If the job is older than 30 days, right? That's why they have that filter on LinkedIn, jobs that have been posted within the past 30 days, or all of the jobs on the job site. If that job is older than 30 days, there is a good chance that that job is closed. Well, then you ask the question, well, Daniel, if the job is not open and you've closed it in the applicant tracking system and it is no longer on your career site, why is it still on the job board? Because LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed.com do not delete those jobs until 30 to 60 days after we close them, and there's nothing we can do about that. So you're clicking apply to a bunch of jobs and getting immediate rejections because the job is closed. So the best way to search for jobs is to filter by jobs that have been open 30 days or less. Why do I say 30 days or less? Because the average hire time life cycle is 4 weeks. Okay? Week 1, we review candidates. Week 2, hiring manager interviews. Week 3, final interviews. Week 4, offers. That's typically how it works. So if you don't know that and you're applying to these jobs thinking that the job is open, you're going to be surprised to get a bunch of rejections. So if you get rejections back really quickly, it usually means that job is not open. You're asking yourself, there's no way that recruiter could have looked at my resume that quickly. They didn't look at it. In fact, your resume is not even in applicant tracking system because your resume cannot get into the applicant tracking system when a job or requisition has been closed. It simply bounces it back via an email. Okay? So I'm going to stop here for a second and see if you have any questions for me. I see here some of the questions that are coming in. So first, if you want me to review your resume, email it to me, daniel@dscds.com. My email address is pinned in the chat on Facebook and Instagram, and it's above my head on TikTok. It's daniel@dscds.com. The first 100 people who email me their resume, I'll review it for free. Doesn't cost you anything. Now, I'm going to tell you what you need to fix, and you may say, man, can you do it for me? Yeah, I can. There is an option there, but I have no expectation that anyone will use me as an option. You can do it yourself, or you can have me do it. So Yolanda says, do you add these things under each job? So Yolanda, I'm going to give you a bit of a surprise here. Hiring managers don't read your duties and responsibilities under each job. We don't read that. We don't look at it. We are just skimming and scanning the resume to see if it has the stuff that we're looking for. We don't skim and scan. We don't look at you. We don't read your job descriptions. Nobody cares about your duties and responsibilities from your last job. I'm sorry. Should you have your skill listed on LinkedIn? Yes. There is a way on my Fast Track program. There's a way that we set up a person's LinkedIn profile. We have a captivating headline, and in the About section, that's where we list all of the skills. Here's another thing. Hiring managers don't look at your LinkedIn profile work experience. It's a waste of time for hiring managers. They don't look at that. Okay? So you can put your job title there, dates worked. We don't look at that. We just don't. I'm sorry. As a recruiter, we don't look at it either. So if I don't see your skills listed in the About section, right? This is how we set up. This is how we set it up on LinkedIn for our clients. we just don't read it, and nobody tells you that. Okay, I just emailed me my resume. Can you check it out? Yes, I looked at the past 24 hours. Okay, so Tommy, let me explain something to you. You don't want to look for jobs within the past 24 hours. Let me tell you why. It's too much of a restriction, right? So I want you to think, I'm giving you this perspective from a recruiter who manages jobs and the applicant tracking system and job boards. Let me explain to everyone how the process works. When a hiring manager comes to me, let's say it's Monday. Today is Monday. Hiring manager comes to me and says, hey, I need to hire for this job. Can you post this position? We get all of the particulars worked out, and then I'm going to post that position. If today is Monday, I don't care if 1,000 candidates apply to the job today. We're not looking at that job posting. We're not. We're not going to look at candidates on day one. We're not. Day 2 passes, more candidates come in. Day 3 passes, more candidates come in. So we start looking at candidates 3 to 5 days after that job has been posted. Okay? So if you're only looking at jobs that have been posted within the past 24 hours, you're only going to get a window of jobs that have been open for the past 24 hours. You could do it yourself. Go to LinkedIn and see how many jobs you have. If you type in your skill and you do 24 hours, 14 days, 30 days, you'll see the difference. Now, why do I say 30 days? Because the actual hire timeline for individual contributor jobs is 4 weeks. Week 1, we select. Week 2, hiring manager interview. Week 3, final interview. Week 4, offers. We close it usually on day 31 or day 32. So those jobs are usually live and open. Believe me, it's proven. All right. Cass says, can I send you my resume? Yes. Send it to Daniel@dscds.com. What's the best resume style? The most simple resume style as possible. Okay. You don't want to have 2 columns. Applicant tracking systems don't read that information the best. So it's important for you to have a simple resume style that hiring managers can easily read. I want you to think about your resume style. Listen to me. I want you to think about your resume style like it is a 5th grade book. Easy to read, big and bold words that only show those things that hiring managers want to see. Okay? If you have a question, leave it in the chat. Now I'm going to transition to talking about the job interview and what the purpose is of the job interview so you guys understand what's going on there. Now, none of this works if you have a resume that does not attract the attention of hiring managers. You won't get to the interview. You will not get an interview. No one will interview you if you do not have a resume that attracts the attention of hiring managers. So if you don't fix that, nothing's going to change. What is the job interview about? The job interview is not about your work history. It's not about your experience. So I had the conversation with the CEO today in a coaching session. I explained this exact same thing to him. I said, this company who is trying to hire you as a CEO has an outcome they want someone to get. They already know what they want someone to do. So that's where every hiring manager starts. When it comes to you, a hiring manager says, I need someone that I can hire who can do this. That's what a hiring manager thinks. They then come to me from talent acquisition and recruiting perspective and ask me to publish a job to try to attract you. When I submit your resume to a hiring manager, I am saying this to the hiring manager. I have found someone who can do what you told me you want them to do. I have found a candidate who has the experience to do what you told me you want them to do. Now, hiring managers don't question that. So they're not looking at your resume to prove that what I said was a lie. That's not what they're doing. They say, okay, they'll skim and scan the resume. Dan, you're right. Can you schedule this person for me? That's how it works. But so the interview is the result of a hiring manager seeing a resume that shows them that you can do what they want. So this is what I told that CEO. You haven't been selected because they're trying to vet your skills. They already know you can do the job. They don't know you though. Okay. And what do I mean by that? I use the can I borrow your car explanation all the time. Imagine I came to your city. You and I were having lunch. And I got a phone call. And I said to you, ring, ring. I'm talking on the phone. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. I'll be right there. And I hang up the phone and I said to you, Hey, sorry, I have to cut our lunch short. I just got a call that I have to attend to. Can I borrow your car? What's your answer? Tell me in the chat. Will you let me borrow your car? I know what most people will say. Most people will say, no, you can't borrow my car. And the reason why they will tell me no is because I don't know you. Who are you? We're having lunch. You seem like you're a nice person, but I don't know you. Well, guess what, family? That's what the job interview is about. They don't know you. They know about you, but they don't know you. And that's what the job interview is about, and why a hiring manager wants to have a conversation with you. And they're going to ask you 6 to 8 job interview questions that help them to determine if they will give you the keys to this job. Most people blow it in the first 2 questions. You don't know this, but most of your interviews are over in the first 5 minutes. And I'm going to tell you why. When a hiring manager asks you the question, tell me about yourself, most people think the hiring manager is asking them to tell them about their work history. If that's what you think, type yes in the chat. Tell me all about your work history and the successes you've had in your job. When they ask, tell me about yourself, if you think that's what they're asking, just raise your hand and say, yes, that's what I think they're asking me. Well, they're not asking you that. They already know your work history. They already know you can do the job. Well, you're asking, well, Daniel, what are they asking about? They are asking about who you are and your professional character. So what I tell clients is you always give them 4 of your best professional character traits: honest, loyal, hardworking, committed, team player, whatever that is. And then you say, I'm someone you never have to worry about getting the job done. So when you start to talk about your work history and you fail to talk to them about your character as a professional, you've just lost the hiring manager. Because they're trying to find out about you, and you're telling them about what you've done. They already know what you've done. They're trying to find out about you. Second question they're going to ask you is, I see you're currently working. Why are you looking to leave your current job? Or, I see that you were working. Why did you leave your last job? Type yes in the chat if you've ever gotten that question. Why are you looking to leave your current job? I want to know, right? Most people answer this question wrong, okay? What they say is, I'm looking for a better opportunity. I'm looking for more money. I'm looking to grow with a company. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that. And when you say that, this is what the hiring manager says. Oh, you're looking for a better opportunity. So you're telling me if I hire you and a better opportunity comes along, you're going to leave me too. No, thank you. If that surprises you, type wow in the chat. Because that's what they're thinking. If you say, I'm looking to earn more money. Oh, when another job comes along that is able to pay you more money, you're going to take that job too. And I'm going to find myself right back in this same situation, having to interview candidates to try to fill this position. No, thank you. So that is not what you say in the interview. If you fail to answer those first 2 questions correctly, the interview is over. And there's nothing you can do, nothing at all you can do to get that hiring manager to change their mind. It's over. It's over. Okay? So you have to understand why hiring managers want to interview you, what it's all about, and just remember that scenario that I just gave you, or that analogy of, can I borrow your car? What do they want to know? They want to know about you. All right. So I'm going to wrap this up. So you're someone who is interested in getting a job. I'm going to read something to you really quickly from a client so you understand what success really looks like from the perspective of someone who does it the right way. I'm going to tell you. So I have a client. His name is Ron. Here's what Ron's situation was. Ron, eight months prior to February, Ron was laid off from his job. Ron has 30 years experience. He's a sales account executive. So he manages large sales accounts for a company. But he was laid off. Okay? Just totally laid off. So Ron came to me. He was desperate. Severance was running out. Unemployment was ending. Okay? It was running out. So he was desperate. He needed help. So he attended one of my webinars that I used to do, and he said, Daniel, I think I'm being aged out of the market. Do you think you can help me? And I said, tell me what you do. We had that conversation. I said, I do believe I can help you. He says, man, I've been searching for jobs for 8 months and there are no jobs open. I think I'm being aged out. And I said, well, there's only one way to find out. Okay. And that is, Ron says, okay, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to jump on your fast track program. On my fast track program, I told him, I'm going to take care of your resume. I'm going to do it for you. I know what hiring managers want to see, so I'm going to do your resume. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to take care of your public presence on LinkedIn. We're going to fix your LinkedIn profile. So when a hiring manager sees it, they're like, wow, I want to talk to this guy. Third thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to apply to 100 jobs in 30 minutes using LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed.com, and get your application in front of 100 hiring managers every 30 minutes a day, just 30 minutes a day. Okay, so that's what we did. I said, then I'm going to coach you in a group coaching session every week, and I'm going to prep you before every interview, and I am going to prep you after every offer. I'm going to help you get more money from every single offer that you get. So that was Ron's scenario. Yours may be similar. Ron sent me this message. Ron started the Fast Track program. He makes $140,000 a year. He started the Fast Track program March 5th. He sent me this message April 7th at 4:16 p.m. Hello, Coach Daniel. I wanted to let you know that I accepted a position, and I know you wanted me to chat before I signed the offer, but honestly, this company met everything I requested in terms of salary, vacation days, all of that good stuff. And they allow me to invest in their pension plan. My new role is commercial manager in the medical business unit, and with commercial responsibilities over 6 shared locations with customer service managers and operational teams who do not report directly into the medical business unit. They'll report to me. Daniel, your program is outstanding. He's talking about my Fast Track program. I will be more than happy to provide you with an exceptional endorsement. Your formula works. Thank you so much. Best regard, Ron. What's the difference between you and Ron? Well, on the surface, nothing. Ron is a very capable professional. You're a very capable professional. Ron knows how to solve business problems in the role that he's in. You know how to solve business problems in the role that you're in. Ron is very ambitious. You're very ambitious. Ron is somebody that a hiring team or a company will definitely benefit from hiring. And you are somebody that they will benefit from hiring. But what was Ron's problem? It's probably yours, right? Ron had a resume that no one cared about. No one wanted to see it. His resume stunk, right? Even though he had all of this experience, this skill, this background, his resume was not good. It did not show hiring managers what they wanted to see. That was problem number one. Number two, Ron did not know how to search for jobs. When he did a search with me, we ended up with 18 jobs he can apply for. I did in the same kind of search, and he ended up with 43,000 jobs to apply for. So he had a lot more jobs to apply for that were all more open. What was Ron's another issue? Consistency in applications. Ron started applying to 90 jobs a day, 7 days a week. And in week 2, he had 4 initial interviews. Week 3, he had 2 final interviews. Week 3, he also had 3 additional initial interviews. And week 4, Ron had a total of 4 written offers in his email. What a problem to have, right? Most people, they don't have any offers in their email box, and it'll take you 4 or 5 months to get one offer for a low-paying job. How did Ron get his life on track? Right? He followed a simple process for getting his resume right, getting the attention of hiring managers and recruiters, and getting people to respond to him. Guess what? That's your problem. And if you don't do anything, nothing's going to change. Nothing will change. Right? I can help you. How do we start? You got to send your resume to me so I can take a look at it. If I take a look at it and review it, and I tell you the things you need to change, and you change those things, you will start getting more calls. If you don't do anything, nothing in your life will change. Nothing. Information is important. I'm giving you the information. But action combined with information is what it's all about. If you are serious about getting a higher paying job offer in the next 30 days, right? It all starts with your resume. Nothing's going to change unless you do that. I'm here to help you. There are many of you who have asked about my fast track program. Daniel, are you telling me that you will recruit for me, help me be my recruiting assistant over the course of the next 30 days like you did with Ron and help him to get a high paying job? Yes, I do that for 30 people a month, and I only have a few slots that are available this coming Monday for the next fast track start. So if you're interested in the fast track program and you want me to take care of your resume and help walk you through the process for applying for jobs and being prepared for an interview, send me an email or a DM with the word fast track. Fast track. That's all you have to put in the DM or the email, fast track, and I'll be happy to work with you. Thank you guys so much for joining the live. I hope this was helpful, and I hope to talk to you and see you again soon. Take care. God bless.